I'm excited to introduce Heidi Stimpson. And Heidi's background, she's a functional nutritionist with a Master of Science in Human Nutrition and Functional Medicine. She's also a board certified nutrition specialist with the American Nutrition Association and has also completed all modules with the Institute for Functional Medicine to sit for certification next year. That's exciting. Her expertise is in the gut health arena, hormones, healing at the cellular level. She specializes in addressing both physical and emotional root causes of health issues, incorporates education on relationships, emotions, and limiting beliefs into the nutrition care process to promote holistic healing. So her topic is transform your gut health and reclaim your life.
Yeah, thanks, Christine, and organizers of the summit. I am excited to be here to share some insights with you today on transforming gut health. I love everything that's been shared so far, all of it. I feel like it's all like what we talk about, the whole person care. But imagine waking up every day feeling exhausted, even though you just spent the night in bed. Say you're constantly battling uncomfortable bloating, gas, unpredictable digestion. Maybe you've had to turn down invitations to dinner because you just don't know how your body is going to react, or you're forced to cancel plans because you're too fatigued or maybe foggy headed. It's more than just a stomach issue. It's impacting your energy, your mood, and your relationships. I understand this. I think a lot of people in the wellness world, it becomes your passion when you've struggled with something. And I've been there myself. I was diagnosed with IBS over 20 years ago and was told there's nothing that I could do about it. But I didn't accept that answer. I knew that there had to be more, and my drive to find answers really set me on a path to research and ultimately understand the gut and its profound impact on our overall health. Back then, I had to plan out, before figuring out my own gut, I had to plan every outing, always knowing where the nearest bathroom was because my gut was so unpredictable. So around 60 to 70 million Americans suffer from digestive diseases or symptoms like bloating, constipation, IBS every year. That's roughly 1 in 5 people, meaning you or someone you know is probably experiencing these same struggles. So today, I want to help you uncover what might be going on inside your own body and show you that it doesn't have to be this way. I want to explore the basics of what the microbiome is. I know we hear the gut, we hear the microbiome, all these terms out there, but I want to focus on the microbiome and how it affects functions from digestion to mood and the impact of an imbalanced gut or dysbiosis on your well-being. And then I want to show you practical evidence-based strategies to support a healthier microbiome, from supplements and diet adjustments to lifestyle practices, and get clarity on some common misconceptions. Because gut health is so popular, there are so many misconceptions out there about gut health. And so by the end, I hope that you'll feel empowered with these tools and insights to take towards transforming your own gut health. So to start really quickly, just what is the gut? Or the GI tract. It runs from your mouth to your anus, responsible for digesting food, absorbing nutrients, expelling waste, involved in detox like we heard today. But when we talk about gut health, there are many, many factors to consider. Everything from the delicate gut lining that can become leaky, if you've heard that term, leaky gut, to our immune system response and nutrient absorption. And all of these play a very critical role in our gut health. But today we just have time to focus on the importance of the microbiome. So the gut is home to a vast ecosystem of microorganisms known as the gut microbiome. And these microbes support essential functions like your immune regulation, vitamin production, and even our mental well-being. Understanding how this microbial world works and what it needs to thrive can really unlock a path to better health overall, not just for our digestion, but energy, mood, and resilience. So our microbiome is like a bustling little universe inside your gut. There are trillions of tiny life forms that are bacteria, fungi, viruses, and more. Think of it like a city that never sleeps, with each microbe playing a unique role in keeping things running smoothly. Some microbes act like little chefs. They break down complex foods to extract the nutrients that you need from them. Others act as security guards. They stand watch to keep harmful bugs out. And there's trillions in your gut, 20 to 30,000 different species of bacteria alone, each playing a role there. So this bustling community works together to keep you healthy in ways that we are only beginning to understand. In fact, it was only recently through the Human Microbiome Project that just ended in 2017. And all they did was name and classify the microbes in the human microbiome. So we do not fully understand all of their roles and what they're doing. But to grasp just how essential they are, we're going to go back in time a little bit. Microbes were among the Earth's first inhabitants. So they existed billions of years before plants, animals, and humans. And over time, they created the conditions for life as we know it. The reason that we can live on Earth is because of microbes. They shaped our soil, they've shaped our oceans, and they helped us develop into the complex beings that we are today. Our very cells hold connections to microbial ancestors. There's structures called mitochondria. If you've heard of that, they're the little energy factories inside our cells. You depend on them. Without them, we wouldn't be alive. They trace back to bacteria. They look like bacteria. So every breath, every heartbeat, and every moment of life depends on these ancient little allies. So in our bodies, these microbes work around the clock. They help you digest food. They produce essential vitamins like B and K. And then, of course, protect us from harmful invaders. They are essential to life. Without microbes in our gut or on our body, we have a microbiome everywhere, but today we're just talking about the gut. We wouldn't thrive and we could not be healthy. If we were sterile, we would be very, very sick and we wouldn't live very long. So another thing that's important is the diversity. So the number of different microbes that you have, and balanced, they need to be in balance. You can have microbes that are considered harmful in your gut, but as long as these others are in balance and keeping it all in check, that's what's important. It not only boosts immunity, but regulates our metabolism. It influences our mood. I think everyone's maybe heard of the gut-brain axis, but there's a gut-liver axis, there's a gut-muscle axis. Like, it's communicating with our entire body. The gut is so important for our mental and emotional health. And I think it's important to realize that it goes both ways. If you're not feeding your body and microbes what it needs, it's going to affect your mental and emotional health. But if you're not caring for your mental and emotional health, it's going to affect these microbes. So it's all so interconnected. We can't treat them as separate. So dysbiosis is when those become imbalanced. It happens when this delicate ecosystem inside us, when it falls out of sync. So that's called dysbiosis. But imagine this well-balanced community suddenly facing an influx of unwanted residents or losing some of its essential workers. Things start to get messy. So dysbiosis occurs when that mix of bacteria, fungi, viruses, other microbes in our gut become imbalanced, setting off a ripple effect that can affect the whole body. And when this balance is disrupted, symptoms will follow, ranging from digestive discomfort to fatigue and even mood shifts. So restoring this balance is really key to feeling your best overall. Dysbiosis can send up signals that something's off, and they can show up all over the body. We heard about this skin stuff today. Digestive troubles are often the first to appear. Things like bloating, gas, stomach pain, or irregular bowel movements. Food intolerances or sensitivity are also very common, making some meals unpredictable in how you're going to feel after. But the effects of dysbiosis go beyond the gut. As a quick side note, I do want to say about food sensitivities. Food sensitivity tests are not reliable in identifying these issues. They are not evidence-based. My clinical hours supervisor actually sent 2 tests from the exact same patient and got completely different results. So they're not worth the money. The elimination diet is considered the gold standard for identifying food sensitivities and issues in the gut. But skin issues like acne, eczema, or rosacea flaring up is often a sign of underlying gut inflammation. So if your immune system feels weaker than usual, you get infections often, you catch every cold that's going around, or you have autoimmune symptoms, your gut health could definitely be a factor. Mental health symptoms, anxiety, depression, brain fog, fatigue, they have been increasingly linked to imbalances in the gut. And even metabolic changes like sudden weight gain or weight loss, blood sugar fluctuations, low energy levels, these can also be signs of dysbiosis. And while all of these symptoms can be caused by different things, experiencing several of them at once is what's going to point back to the gut. And through a deeper look, including other testing if needed, we can identify what's really going on in your gut and create a targeted plan to restore that balance. So what are causes? What creates this imbalance in the gut? So it doesn't happen on its own. It's often set off by common factors that disrupt that delicate community. Some of the biggest culprits might surprise you. I think everybody likely knows about antibiotics. While there is a time and a place for their use, they're like a bulldozer in the gut. And they are going to cause some of the biggest shifts in the microbiome that we know of. So they wipe out both harmful and the good guys that we need to stay healthy. Just one round of antibiotics can make certain beneficial species go extinct in your microbiome, never to return. So that creates huge shifts in the gut. It doesn't just affect digestion. Studies show that a single course of antibiotics increases your risk of depression by 25% within the next few months. So that highlights just how closely the gut and the brain are connected. And beyond antibiotics, our diets play probably the next biggest role in maintaining or disrupting that balance. A diet high in processed foods, sugar, and artificial additives can fuel the unhelpful bacteria to grow and crowd out the beneficial ones. Meanwhile, a lack of fiber in the diet. So when we have a processed foods diet, it lacks fiber that's found in fruits, vegetables, whole foods. That will starve the microbes that support gut health. Something that many might find interesting is that recent studies have shown that COVID-19 can directly reduce the diversity and abundance of our beneficial bacteria. Often when I'm working with somebody and they get COVID, it feels like we have to start over because it just throws everything off so bad. But some bacteria that normally help regulate the immune system, it's a long name, Faecalibacterium prausnitzii, but they're reduced. It's one of the most important species in our gut, and they help reduce inflammation. So with COVID, it reduces that species, which leads to more inflammation. It weakens the gut barrier, so the gut lining, and it can lead to leaky gut. So this imbalance can make it harder for the body to recover and may even prolong COVID-19 symptoms. It's being connected to long COVID. But other things that really affect that gut balance is taking omeprazole or other PPI drugs. They're used to reduce heartburn or reflux. This is the #1 cause of SIBO. That's small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, because the acidity of your stomach is crucial to that balance within the gut. It really keeps things from getting overgrown and overtaken in your gut. Some other factors that can upset this balance include chronic stress, because stress releases hormones that affect the gut. Lack of sleep disrupts the body's natural repair processes. And then exposure to environmental toxins, anything from even air pollution, tons and tons of chemicals. But all of these can gradually damage our microbiome, that gut lining, and they create an imbalance in the microbiome. And over time, this can start showing up in those symptoms that feel unrelated maybe, but they do trace back to your gut. So when it comes to fixing dysbiosis, this is where there's kind of a lot of information out there that's misleading and maybe even just wrong. So I want to clear up some of these myths with insights from Dr. Jason Harlock, and I'll explain who he is, and some other experts that I've learned from. A lot of the confusion comes from supplement companies promoting ideas as if they're facts, but many of these claims are just marketing. They are not real science. And there's even so many doctors and experts out there that get caught up in this. They create their own products or they endorse a product, and that leads to bias. And so when experts are linked to specific supplements, it's really hard to stay completely objective. So this is really true when it comes to probiotics. They are often advertised as everybody needs them. They're a cure-all for your gut health symptoms. But addressing dysbiosis requires a multifaceted approach, and I'll explain the whole approach as we get towards the end. But it's one thing's not going to fix it. You have to go at it from several different directions, because it almost feels like your body's working against you when you have dysbiosis. So, but there isn't a one-size-fits-all solution. Because the gut microbiome is so complex and influenced by many factors. There are various tests available to assess gut health. I don't think that's always necessary, but I can do testing. But I focus on proven strategies, like knowing how to nourish the beneficial bacteria, reducing those harmful factors, and maintaining a healthy gut environment can be just as effective. So let's talk about some of those things and address some of the myths out there. Back to probiotics, probably one of the most common misconceptions is that probiotics alone can help restore gut health. And while probiotics can play a role in managing symptoms, they do not shift the composition of the gut microbiome long term. Remember how I said there's 20 to 30,000 species of microbes in every human microbiome, and everyone's is very different. You're taking a product that might have 3 to 10 species. That's not gonna touch dysbiosis. They don't seed the gut. They never become part of the human microbiome. They are not human strains. In fact, after 2 weeks of stopping a probiotic supplement, you will not find that strain anywhere in the microbiome. But what probiotics are is a targeted therapy, almost like a medicine that can address specific symptoms or conditions only temporarily. So each strain has very specific effects in a probiotic. So choosing the right probiotic means selecting a strain shown through research to support the particular symptoms that you're trying to address. So there are strains shown to support IBS symptoms, leaky gut, that help protect that gut barrier, strains that help with constipation or diarrhea. So I don't have time to show you how to know the strain and what each of those strains do, but know that it is essential to get the right probiotic when you are using it to treat something. And rather than taking a one-size-fits-all approach, probiotics should be seen as short-term interventions tailored to individual needs. So, like I said, there's even strains that help reduce inflammation short-term. So Dr. Harlock, who I mentioned earlier, he was my GI professor. And so much of what I know is from him. I've studied the gut for 20 plus years, and there's a lot of things that I was misinforming people on. So I had it wrong until I went through my grad program, but he's known as the expert to the experts when it comes to gut health. He's a researcher, he's a naturopathic doctor, an herbalist. He has a clinic in Australia where I wish I could go there. Maybe someday I will, but he has an organic apothecary right at his clinic where he grows his own fresh herbs to be picked and used for his patients. But he's written 20 different textbook chapters on the microbiome. He's been published in peer-reviewed journals dozens of times. And he feels part of his mission is to correct all of the misinformation out there on the gut microbiome. But he has the largest probiotic database information website in the world. And it's what I use when I'm determining if a client needs probiotics and which probiotic to use. He only uses, again, probiotics as treatment. They're not a daily supplement for gut health. So a lot of practitioners don't know this, and it is because of just marketing, and it spread like wildfire. But pharmaceutical companies do know this, and they've tried to make probiotics prescription only, which I disagree with, but I see their point. So, and another thing that a lot of people don't know is that they lose efficacy after about 3 months. So they're not as effective for the person taking them beyond 3 months. It's good to take breaks if you are using a probiotic and then reintroduce it. Like you can take breaks from it and start taking again, and it can be effective. But there are strains, though, shown to support immune health. So you can take those strains from December through February, and that could be supportive during the cold months. But for long-lasting changes to the gut, we've got to look beyond probiotics to other methods. And one of those is prebiotics. So probiotics act as temporary visitors. Prebiotics are the true fuel for long-term microbiome health changes. Prebiotics are food for our beneficial bacteria that are already present in our gut. They're human strains, and prebiotics help these microbes grow and thrive. So there's prebiotic fibers and carbohydrates like inulin, resistant starch, galacto-oligosaccharides, fructo-oligosaccharides. These encourage a balanced microbiome, and they promote that diversity. So we want a variety of different strains in our gut. And this makes those changes that you make sustainable over time. And again, Dr. Harlock's work, his PhD studies was actually on the use of probiotics and prebiotics in helping with gut diseases. But he highlights the essential role of prebiotics in making those lasting shifts. They contribute to a stable, resilient microbiome. So when I'm working with a client to address dysbiosis, we look at specific prebiotics that are going to target certain microbes that are out of balance or undergrown for them. So if a client is low in what's called butyrate producing bacteria, so this is an important group of bacteria for overall health, there are specific prebiotics that we use that can support the growth of those bacteria. And it's a targeted approach. And this targeted approach helps to restore a balanced microbiome more effectively. An essential aspect of this work is therapeutic dosing, which means providing the correct amount of each prebiotic to achieve what we're looking for. And with dysbiosis, it's not enough to include prebiotics in the diet or in a proprietary blend in a supplement. The dose is carefully calibrated to support growth of those specific populations. Using a therapeutic dose ensures that we're maximizing those benefits and creating the environment in which a healthy, balanced microbiome can flourish. This is what makes a real difference in restoring gut health. And what you find in most supplements is for support. So it's not bad, but it's not treatment. Therapeutic dosing is within my scope of practice and what I use to work with someone who is experiencing digestive issues. Another common myth in gut health is that fermented foods like yogurt, kefir, kimchi, sauerkraut are probiotic rich and they are suitable for anyone. That's also misleading. These foods do provide beneficial bacteria that can, again, temporarily support gut health, but they don't meet the strict definition of a probiotic because they don't measure their strains and concentrations from batch to batch. So we actually don't know what it's going to do for each person. But by definition, true probiotics require those well-researched strains in a consistent dose to deliver those specific health benefits. But although they're not considered probiotics, fermented foods do contribute valuable compounds to gut health. So they can help support digestion because they provide organic acids like lactic acid. That's really important in the gut. And so they can help create a supportive environment for our human strains to grow. It's important to know that fermented foods are contraindicated in certain conditions. So that means that they can actually do more harm than good for some people. So it's important to know who needs them and who doesn't. So it's why understanding the individual needs and health context of every person is so important before we make any recommendations. And understanding these distinctions allows us to use each approach effectively. So targeted probiotic strains for specific therapeutic needs, prebiotics to nourish the beneficial bacteria, and fermented foods
December 6th
as supportive additions. And when these strategies are used in combination and at therapeutic dosing, that's when we can create powerful changes in the gut and restore gut health over time. So those things that we just talked about, probiotics, prebiotics, and fermented foods, mostly to clear up some misunderstandings that are so prominent in the wellness industry. I do use them as part of my approach to treating dysbiosis, but for overall gut health, the following things that we're going to discuss are also very important, though I won't have time to go into detail, so we're going to brush over these things quickly. But a diverse intake of fiber from fruits, vegetables, nuts, and seeds combined with polyphenol-rich foods, so those are your berries, green tea, dark chocolate. These provide that foundational support. The gut needs this to thrive. So I want to share, I am kind of nerdy, but like I love reading the research stuff. So there was an umbrella meta-analysis of systematic reviews. Huge study that took several studies together, and it was an umbrella taking data from thousands of studies. This is one of the highest levels of evidence in research. It showed fiber's profound impact on gut health. It showed that fiber not only nourishes beneficial bacteria, but fosters that diversity that we need and resilience, both essential for a thriving microbiome. It also showed that fiber's benefits extend beyond gut health. It protects against numerous chronic diseases, making it a truly powerful and essential component of health. I feel like everyone's looking for a cure-all. We want something in a pill that's going to make us feel better. This study basically showed that fiber is that magic pill almost. It influences every aspect of health, and it's not a fancy supplement. We get it in our food. So women need a minimum of 25 grams of fiber per day, and men 30 grams of fiber per day minimum. I could have spent this whole time and more talking about the benefits of fiber. It is one supplement that I recommend to every single client. It's just the type of fiber I recommend is going to depend on the condition that they're dealing with. Again, reduce processed foods and sugar. We've got to limit this because processed foods contain those additives, preservatives, toxins that really disrupt the balance of the microbiome and reduce the beneficial species. High sugar diets fuel the harmful bacteria and yeast. They increase inflammation, and it creates an environment that weakens our gut health over time, including the gut lining that we don't have time to talk about. But every single bite you take alters your microbiome. When you eat, you're not just feeding yourself, you are feeding these microbes. And I like to think of that with every meal that I take. Is this going to be feeding it or harming it? Briefly mentioned earlier, but managing stress, prioritizing quality sleep, and incorporating mindfulness and exercise are critical also for microbiome health. Again, chronic stress releases that cortisol, and cortisol can alter the gut microbiome. Poor sleep disrupts our body's natural repair process. And physical activity, so just getting exercise or moving. I like to say move your body. Movement influences those microbes in your microbiome. And all of that helps reduce inflammation. There are supplements. Again, this depends on the person, but supplements like digestive enzymes, omega-3s, zinc. There's a supplement called Ion Biome, L-glutamine. All of these can support gut health. If symptoms and testing shows that somebody might need it. Omega-3s help reduce inflammation in the gut. Zinc and L-glutamine repair the gut lining, protecting that microbiome. And Ion Biome, it's a supplement that promotes a balanced environment in the gut. It opens up communication between those species living in your gut. And it also tightens the gut lining, which is really important. These supplements are most effective, again, when they're tailored to each individual's needs. Of course, antibiotics that disrupt the microbiome. When antibiotics are unavoidable, following up with prebiotics and specific probiotic strains can help restore microbial balance. Recent studies have shown that some probiotic strains actually hinder the regrowth of your beneficial microbes. So again, here's another area where it's so important to know which probiotic to use so we avoid harming the recovery process when an antibiotic is necessary. And then approximately 70% of the immune system is in the gut, making it crucial to support the gut lining with nutrients. A strong gut lining reduces inflammation, prevents the immune system from overreacting to food and pathogens, and that's going to help prevent food sensitivities and maintain overall immune health. When the gut gets leaky and there's no boundary in the body, that's really going to disrupt the microbiome. So supporting your immune system is really important as well. So now I want to get to the overall approach. Those are the tips and the things that you can do, but the functional medicine approach to gut health is called the 5R program. Each R stands for a key step in the healing process. And the first is to remove. Now, this is where I was saying there's not one size fits all. Like if you want to heal the gut and you want to balance the microbiome, you're doing all of this at once. But the first being remove is eliminate harmful substances that might be irritating the gut, such as gluten, dairy, sugar, toxins. Are there any infections like parasites or yeast? So this step will help reduce inflammation and create a healthier environment for good microbes to grow. And then replace is to add back digestive support. Some of those supplements that we talked about, digestive enzymes, bile acid, HCl, these help break down food and improve nutrient absorption, making digestion more effective. And then reinoculate is to reintroduce beneficial bacteria to the gut with prebiotics and fiber. This step helps rebuild a healthy balance of microbes in the gut. And then that's where we use probiotics to support what might be out of balance until we can get it in balance. Repair is to support that gut lining by providing nutrients that aid in healing. So that's L-glutamine, zinc, omega-3, the Ion Biome, and maybe other anti-inflammatory compounds. These help strengthen the gut barrier and reduce that permeability or like the leaky gut. And then to rebalance is address those lifestyle factors. So the stress, the sleep, the movement, and managing these factors really helps maintain the gains from the previous steps and is going to promote long-term gut health. This 5R program is a holistic step-by-step method that really aims to restore overall gut function and balance by addressing multiple aspects of gut health, from removing those irritants to rebalancing our lifestyle factors. So to wrap up and then address any questions that we might have, just understanding and caring for our gut health isn't just about a magic solution. It's a combination of things, those targeted probiotics, nourishing prebiotics, balancing the boundaries in our bodies, supporting digestion, and taking a mindful approach to diet and lifestyle. On the lifestyle and a mindful approach, yoga, there's been studies on how yoga can influence shifts in the microbiome. So learning the things that we did today can be helpful as well. But as we've seen, even small shifts like adding fiber, managing stress, or taking a therapeutic approach to supplements can really make profound impacts on our microbiome, on our immune system, and overall well-being. And so by approaching gut health with an evidence-based, individualized plan, we're going to give our bodies the best environment to heal and thrive. We'll just wrap up with that. And I don't know, Christine, if there's time for questions, but thank you all for your attention and curiosity today. If you do, this QR code will take you to schedule a free call and to discuss things that you're experiencing. And if there's something that might be helpful there, 10% off any of our package programs if you mention this summit.